the next part where it's Taylor has finally gotten a big info dump on a game he's super excited for. So let's have you talk about this one.
Yeah, so there was a bit. I don't know if it was like a Famitsu interview. I don't know what it was. There was a big info dump for Fire Emblem Three Houses, and so they were talking about like customization, and essentially there is customization similar to Final Fantasy Tactics, where each character. So let me see what they have here. So they have. Personal skills. Sorry, I'm trying to find
They
the.
like professor skills and combat skills. It's just they have like their personal traits that you cannot change, and then you have their trained traits where you could change. You could trained skills that you could change.
Yeah, yeah. So like you're a professor at a military academy, so a lot of the game is going to be training them or like having them go off and do independent training, and then maybe like a few days later they'll come back and they'll have skills, or you have students fight each other to get better. So there's a lot of different ways to customize your characters and kind of craft them how you want. And that's what I liked about Tactics, Final Fantasy Tactics, and what I feel like a lot of modern strategy RPGs have not really dug into as much is that deep customization. I think that's what made that game so good. And then there is
the way you can break that game. Love it.
Yeah, and Spaghetti asked a question about that, so we'll get to that later. But that's what's fun about it, when games let you break them. So
I mean, you need to you need to take the time and you need to make the effort to break the game.
You do. So like I'm glad that it rewards that, because it's like if you just play the game, you have the base classes and you'll get by, but then if you actually like dive deep and look at different things, there's so much more that you can discover. Okay, so I found it. So there's 3. There's personal skill, unique skills that have been set to a unit from the beginning. These skills have unique effects and cannot be replaced. There's class skills, unique skills that have been set to each class. These are only applicable to said class and will be removed if the unit changes class. And then there's ability skills, skills that can be learned through professor levels. Unlike class skills, these skills can be set to any class after they've been acquired. Up to 5 skills can be equipped at once, and it's recommended to equip skills that best fit that unit's role in class. So, wow, I didn't know there were 5. That's awesome. So there's a lot of different things you can do. So, like, for example, I'm thinking in Final Fantasy Tactics, there's like, increased critical strike, something dodge, attack twice, extra movement.
Move
there's
plus
all
3.
kinds of stuff. Yeah, exactly. So these are the beginner classes. So they haven't really talked about these, but these are like, I don't think any of this is going to be a surprise. So there's Mercenary, excels in speed and power. So they have like sword and axes. Cavalier, well-balanced class that can perform high hit strategies. The Brigand, high HP and power. They use axes and gauntlets. Gladiator, only males, which is interesting. You can take down enemies with quick gauntlet attacks. Mage, which is like a magic user, Dark Mage. And only males can use this one as well. There's no female-only classes. That's peculiar.
For now.
For now, yeah. I mean, I didn't see a healing class, so there's got to be like a priest or something that only females can use, which is very stereotypical.
How much do you want to guess that there's a dancer class and it's only female?
Oh, sure. Yeah. I imagine. But here is the one thing that I want to talk about, and this has been a little bit contentious, especially in our community. So there is going to be a calendar system similar to Persona. And so this is only a couple paragraphs, but here's what the article says, and then we can kind of dive into it. So it said, outside the battle, you as the protagonist will be able to interact with your students in the military academy. Fire Emblem Three Houses has a calendar system that uses around 30 days for each of the 12 months in a year. Just like the real world, various events are also scheduled from festivals to birthdays. 1 month constitutes 1 chapter in the game, with the final day being reserved for a major task battle that progresses the story. Below, and then they show, they have some pictures and they kind of go into it in more detail. But that is very similar to Persona, where it's like, oh, we got to finish the dungeon by this day. And so you're usually either preparing for it or doing social link type things to get extra bonuses, and Fire Emblem Three Houses is going to have that. The more you train with them, the better, their morale rises. And there's a trait that they mentioned, but what do you make of that? And I know you have not played any of the Fire Emblem games except like one of the old ones, but like, what do you think about
the Game Boy Advance one?
Okay.
I don't know what to think about. Like, are there going to be minor? There's going to be minor battles throughout the month, right? That should be.
Yeah, probably there must be especially if you want to like level up and whatnot.
Because if that's the truth, then there's only going to be 12 battles for the entire game, and that doesn't sound like a fun game.
Yeah, no, there's no way. I bet like my thought is it's probably like, oh, there's X amount of battles that need to be completed before the day before the last battle or something, if that makes sense. But yeah.
I'm interested to see how this is. The thing that actually has me most intrigued is the skill system, because I'm like, finally, frickin', I could customize my guys like I can in Tactics, Final Fantasy Tactics. Because like everything I've played, most of them that I've played, they don't allow you to do that. They're always a set skill set, and you can't really change much. Even Tactics Ogre was kind of like that.
Yeah, like one of my favorite strategy RPG series, Valkyria Chronicles, it's like you're pretty stuck. Like you can level up, but it's like so linear. You don't really get to customize very much. I really like being able to customize my troops.
I'm trying to remember Disgaea. Disgaea you could customize, right? Up to a point.
Not like Tactics. It was pretty. I mean, it was class based. I haven't played a Disgaea game in a long time, so
me too. I'm trying to remember. I need to play. I think I own every single Disgaea game, but I've only played one, and I think 3 of them are still wrapped up.
Oops.
Yeah, my bad.
Oops. I'm thrilled with this because I love how Persona has it set up where it's not like, oh, I don't know. I love that calendar structure because it's like, okay, I know I can only do so many things per day. It's like, okay, so what am I going to do? I have 5 days up until the next battle. Okay, let's spend some time with friends. Let's train up some troops. Let's do a grind battle or a battle to level up or something like that, and then get prepared. And I like that there is a school that you can walk around in. I don't know. The more I hear about this game, the more excited I get. They had those mechanics in the last 2, but it was very minimal. Like you would do a battle and you had a base, and then I think once in between battles, you could like have somebody come to your chamber, interact with them or whatever, and then there would be like little social events. So I don't know. I'm excited about this. And then people kept saying like, "Oh, so are you gonna like fall in love with one of your students or something like that?" Usually it's backwards. I know Nick likes the backwards thing where you're the student and you like the teacher. So
that's only happened in 2 games. 2 games.
It's only been possible in 2 games.
I know, right?
Because in Tokyo Xanadu, your teacher is your cousin, so that'd be weird.
It's Toa. Doesn't matter. Yeah, just I don't think so. I think there's probably going to be a lot of people that are your peers.
Yeah,
and that's who. If there's these like romantic things, we don't know if
they've done that in the last 2 in Awakening and in Fates. They've had that because then later on you have a child that grows up and they're like part of your army. So yeah.
I don't know who you could choose. I mean, in Cold Steel 3, you're the teacher now, and so you can't. You obviously cannot date your students. I don't know why people think you can, but you can't. But yeah. But you didn't know that, huh?
I didn't. Well, I haven't played it or really looked into it much.
You haven't looked into Cold Steel 2. You don't know what happens there.
I looked into it. I'm
so much stuff happens.
Well, I don't want to spoil it, but I've looked into like the general structure. But...
It's good times.
Yeah. So that like as it stands right now, that is still my most anticipated game for the rest of the year.
When's it coming out?
It's July. I want to say it's like July 23rd or something like that.
Worldwide release?
I believe so. It's definitely not tapered in any way. Like I don't think Japan's getting it like super far in front. I'm looking. I have a little calendar of games I'm excited about. Fire Emblem Three Houses, July 26th.
So in 2 months.
Yep.
2 months.
Yeah, my hope is that they do not do what they did with Fates, where they split up, so you can essentially like pick which side you want to go, and each side had their own separate game, like Pokemon.
Yeah.
And this one is 3 houses, and you can pick a house at the beginning of the game. So I'm like, oh my god, please don't make it 3 different games, which I don't think it is.
Yeah, I don't think it is because it's a Switch game, and they have enough room to do that stuff. Or do everything. Okay, I'm just getting the questions. I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. Yeah, I don't, because they announced. I remember with Fates, they announced that they were going to be multiple versions, leading like pretty far ahead of time. I think
they were trying to do the Pokemon thing, right? That's
yeah.
what I felt like they're doing. So, and they figured out, oh, that didn't work. So, let's do what we normally did.
Just do one game. I mean, it was a cool idea. I just wish you didn't have to buy 2 games. Like for me, I bought the Super Edition or whatever, and there were 3 stories. You can pick either the 2 families, or you could be neutral. That was like the 3rd option. That wasn't a separate game. It was like a DLC.
Yeah, it was
thing.
DLC that you had to buy, and the only way to get it was through that pack.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that was a weird thing to do.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't like Fates. It was not as Awakening was better in my opinion. I just felt like the maps were more interesting. I will say the characters were definitely better in Fates because it's like 2 warring families, so you kind of had to have unique characters, like, oh, your sisters and your brothers and your like good friend or whatever. So they like had more distinct characters, but I felt like the story overall and the maps were not as good. So
plus, it had a lot more waifus.
It did have good waifus. I'll tell you that.
I didn't say honestly, good. I said a lot.
Oh, they were good waifus.
I was gonna say something, I totally forgot. Hey, continue. I just totally forgot what I was gonna say.
Anyway, yeah, I'm just excited for the summer because it's loaded with a ton of JRPGs like Dragon Quest Builders, Fire Emblem Three Houses, Ononaki, which I think a lot of people are forgetting about.
And they're all in July, aren't they?
Yeah, like July. Yeah, so good luck